Hi guys, I'm Shmi and you join me for part 2 of preparing my new car, the 675 LT Spider, for the road. We're at Topaz Detailing, where the car has had a bit of a detail, and I'm going to show you around that in a second. But mostly today, we're going to be doing the paint protection film to make it stay looking this good throughout all of the trips and adventures I'm going to be doing in the car. Now, this is actually, I think, only the second time you've seen the new car on video. So let me just take a quick look around it in case you missed the arrival video. We've got an MSO Orion purple paintwork, a custom color that I had created that looks amazing. Photographs, or the camera sees it a little bit more blue than it really is in person, but you'll see it out in the sunshine many, many more times. I gather that the wheel choice has been a bit of a controversial one with the silver. A lot of people thinking I should have had the car with black or stealth wheels. Well, I wanted silver to contrast against the darker color of the paintwork, and also to go with the interior, which has stone grey seats and stitching, as you can see here, along with the MSO embroidery at the top. So I wanted this sort of silver theme to contrast against the purple of the outside and the purple there on the toggles and all the carbon fibre. So I'm starting it off with silver. I might change them in the future, but for now they're staying silver because that's how I like the look. It's a rather nice Aventador SV Roadster up there too, being worked on alongside mine. But for the moment, let me just grab the torch here so I can show you the results of the detailing. So before we did this, there were some holograms and sort of some slight funny reflections, but you can see now it reflects significantly clearer. I mean, the camera is obviously not going to see things perfectly, but you can also catch a glimpse of the paintwork here. So it is very, very sparkly. All of the blue metallic sparkles in a blue that matches the color of my previous car, my 675 Coupe, in cerulean blue. So the sparkles are blue on the purple, which is supposed to be reminiscent of my old R8 Spider. So it's a bit of a personal colour choice, this one, and one that I think's come out truly brilliantly, and that's why we named it Orion Purple, after the Orion Nebula, which is a series of very bright stars that give a purple glow. So the car's been detailed, been prepared. It's now going to be ready to start some paint protection film application. So I'll show you a little bit of the process. Topaz have a lot of templates made for this car. You can see they've done one, if not many, 675 Spiders already. So the shapes are all predefined, can be cut out using the plotter, that kind of thing. And then literally the application process can start. So this is almost the final countdown part, getting ready before I'm going to be able to take the car out onto the road, which I think will be ready for handover and delivery in the next piece. Nick from McLaren Manchester will pop down here to Topaz, where they have the new sort of service of doing handovers right here. So that's going to be a new one for me, rather than going all the way up to Manchester to pick up my car from the dealership. So for now, let's get the process started and get paint protection film on the LT Spider. Progress is underway. We've got some of the panels going on. That wing's been done already, but I thought I should probably explain for a moment what PPF actually is, paint protection film. Now, I shot a few videos before with my 650S Spider and then with my 675 LT, but in the 650S, we fully showed the entire process. If you're unfamiliar with it, paint protection film is literally a clear film that goes over the top of the body panels on the car. It acts as sort of a small defensive layer to protect the paintwork and keep it looking perfect. So your detailed paint that you've made look immaculate underneath will show brilliantly through, almost being sort of amplified as a result of the extra film layer, while being protected, so any sort of stones that bounce off it that hit the paint will bounce off. Any light sort of scratches that could happen from people walking past if you're parked on the street or taking the car to an event or something will obviously not do any damage. And if a bird or something should make a mess on the roof of the car, that won't either. So it's pretty much a sort of beneficial material to keep a car, especially one where you've gone for a completely custom paint colour like this, looking perfect for the entire time you own it. And I can tell you from my experience that it does an amazing job. You know, even after 5,000 or 6,000 miles, well, I did 10, 11, 12 maybe in the 650S, it still looked perfect. You're seeing the detailed paintwork underneath in perfect shape. I mean, look here, for example. This is a panel with paint protection on it. You can see the reflections are very, very clear still of the lights above us. And there we've got a piece half done, half not, being positioned God forbid if something does happen, as you might have seen with my keying of my Ferrari FF video, if you do damage the outer layer, you can peel it off and replace it, and the paintwork underneath is fine. So the last thing you want to be doing with a colour like this is having to match it and respray and do anything like that. So we'll show a little bit more of the process as well now, but you can see that things are underway, and it's not going to be too long until all is done and we're ready to drive. Where all of this starts then is with the material. Different types of material for different purposes, different types of cars and different applications. That then goes into the plotter where the shapes are going to get cut out on there one at a time. And obviously there are lots of different components on a car like this. Then you come through to where all the pre-sort of cut parts are. So we've got, you know, the 675 LT bonnet and all my parts for my car are in there. You've got all sorts of different cars that are being worked on too. And then you take all of those parts and put them on the right places on the car. So there's a lot of different components working through it, even the carbon fiber. I'll show you that because you can have satin film as well as glossy film. So you can do the carbon fiber parts, protect the front, you protect the headlights, all sorts of other things. So then it goes from here back over to the car. When you get over to the car, the first thing is just to wipe the panel, make sure there are no contaminants, nothing that's going to get caught under the film. Then apply some slip solution, which is just going to make it easy to put the film down, move it around, get it into the perfect place, especially on a complex panel like this one. Just think about all the sort of curves and where the film has to go. It has to come up, deal with sort of slight raises, ridges, inserts, different shapes like this up here. It has to come through under the wings, so this is why it's all pre-cut, so that you get these kind of shapes made, so you don't have to take a blade anywhere near the car, and it can come all the way through and fit and apply. But take it off the backing plate, backing paper, put it onto the car, move it around, get it to the right place, and then start using another film to apply it afterwards and get it to stick down. You can see the shapes there, painfully difficult to get into place, but that is now going to be able to be adjusted, and we'll see how it turns out. After moving around the panel and getting it into position, you can then use some fixed solution just to hold it down just like that. That will then make the edges stick, so the rest can sort of be maneuvered and adjusted as required and put into place. Quick spray of the slip solution both underneath the material so you can move it around, and then ultimately on the top as well, so that when you squeegee the panel to push it down in place, it's not going to scratch or damage the material in any way, shape or form. This is also that you can just adjust and maneuver and slide those edges to get them in and completely flush so that it can't be seen. Then you use the fixed solution, which is going to make it grip and make it stick. So by loosely holding that in position, it's going to settle, squeegee out the excess liquid from underneath, and the film is now going to stay exactly there. You can move it around again if you need to with some extra slip solution, but basically that bottom corner is now stuck down. And you work it out from there, head around the panel, making sure it all sits down neatly and flush. The funny thing is all those sort of ripples and bobbles and different shapes all disappear, and ultimately it's just going to sit completely flat on the surface. I mean, if I come around and show you sort of other panels that have been done, this is a fully filmed panel on the car, and you basically can't even tell it's there. I mean, come down to try and sort of find an edge, it's neatly tucked, it's cut perfectly to shape. There's sort of no way to know in effect, and this headlight's actually already been done as well now, and yeah, you wouldn't know. It's going to stay very nice. Next up, the front bumper. So we've got this piece along here that comes in under the headlights. If you can sort of picture how this works, you've obviously got the carbon, you've got the paintwork, and this is all a series of different pieces, but it's one component that's going to go all the way across that stretch. It's already been prepared before this. That was just some slip solution to help when we put the material back down to make it stick, but we'll watch this process going ahead. Slip, not stick. What am I talking about? So the first round is now squeegeed off, just to make sure that any sort of fibers from the cloth are gone. It's again with some more slip solution before the panel is peeled back and then stuck on. Lined up and then back peeled along the front. More slip solution, just make sure it can move around easily. then the first little bit of fixed solution that's going to hold that bit down into place. Obviously, holes are pre-cut for the parking sensors and for the towing eye. That will get put into place where it will then stick, giving some freedom to move the sort of other parts around. And as if by magic, the front is on. Next up, if we come around towards the back, is the engine cover. And this is a perfect example of a spectacularly horrendous shape to have to work from, because it literally goes in every direction around the vents, the 4 different vents and the grills, and in here, under the engine covers, the engine panel covers. So that's being done now, it's being placed. And most of the car is actually now complete. So if we just take a little look around, I mean, the door's done, this is done, the fuel cap's done, side sill's done, the vents are done. So we've got the satin carbon on the vents, which I can show on the front in a second. That's just being placed with the fixed solution. And yeah, good progress. Good progress then on the front splitter, and it's kind of funny because the way it goes when it's wet, like you can see here and on the film, it kind of looks like it's gloss, even though when you've actually applied it, it goes back to satin. It will obviously stay looking satin as well, so you can get that film for the PPF parts on the satin carbon fibre, or however you want. Out goes the SV Roadster, and what a trio is this, a Speciale Aperta and another LT Spider. How about this? The first round is done. The full car now has paint protection film, so coverage on literally everything you can see, all the purple panels, the carbon fibre, the headlights, the mirrors, even sort of protection here on the mirror arms. If we have a look inside, this is one thing we did on the LT Coupe, even protection on the carbon fibre of the centre tunnel, so your feet down in the footwell that are bashing on that aren't going to scratch that too. So, this is looking very good. It's getting closer to being able to take it away for a drive. Just what's going to happen now is the sort of final check over, make sure it's all down properly. It'll be left for the night so that the film can settle and just make sure it's all absolutely perfect, as well, of course, as like an interior clean up and just getting rid of any extra liquid or moisture that's around the car. So, I'm going to go home, we'll come back and do the final checks before it's going to be time to drive it away. We're back and things are nearly finished. So the car has undergone a full sort of quality control check this morning, making sure that everything is spotless and the paint protection film is on the car immaculately. That's complete, so now it's kind of like final touch-up. Preparation of all of the panels, just making sure the finish is spot on, cleaning the windscreen, coming and cleaning all the interior parts, just sort of refining the whole thing. Then the number plate's going to go on, SH15MEE, and then it will be time for a big reveal, so also cleaning things like the engine bay. Stuff that you don't clean earlier, because if you did, it would just get full of sort of the liquids used when you're applying the film. So, watching all this being done, then the plates will go on, and then just for fun, we'll do a little bit of a reveal, and that'll be the moment the car is sort of ready to roll out, and then it'll be time for handover. I'm getting quite excited now, I'm not gonna lie. Just being moved then over to the other side for the final prep. But look outside at the weather. We're not going to be going out today. The car is here underneath the cover. It's time for the big reveal now with number plates. So let's go. And it is looking so, so good. Cannot wait to have this car out on the road now. Fully detailed and paint protection film here at Topaz. Goodness me, just look at it. Look at the way the paintwork is with the perfect reflections off it. Fully protected from the stone chips when we drive it everywhere. All the carbon, all the body panels. Now the interior fully tidied up too and prepared. And this, well, I've talked about it a little bit, the silver wheels, silver calipers tying through to the silver seats and the sort of stitching around the driver and passenger zones. Ah, this is gonna be so cool. So happy, this could not be better. Wonderful. And it's quite funny looking in here because the lighting is sort of all specially developed to show you where there are any sort of defects or problems in the paint, but it means the colour, which is highly confusing, is slightly different to how you're going to see it when the car's outside. So get ready for that if you haven't already seen the arrival video of the car getting here. But that is it. Ready to rock and roll and go and hit the outside world. Amazing, truly blown away. I can't wait to take this out. So next, I'm going to be catching up with Nick from McLaren Manchester, who's going to come down to officially hand over the car to me. And the amusing thing is, he hasn't actually seen it yet. So even though I've sort of already taken the arrival of the car and spent a few days with it, it's kind of going to be a surprise for him seeing the paintwork as well before I go out for my first drive in the car. But obviously, a huge thanks to the guys at Topaz, because this is incredible. That is it for now though, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch up with you again very soon. Cheers.